We gather early, very early, on this chilly Easter morning because we know the end of the story. As a basic tenet of our faith, we know that death is not the end. We are here to celebrate the new life that happens only after passing through death. We know that though Jesus' body was pierced and hung, though he died forsaken, weak, full of despair, we know that Jesus the Christ rises from the dead, and so we are here to celebrate that. However, the Easter story is a big story. And just for a moment, I invite all of us to enter the story, maybe a little closer to our real lives. Let's enter the story on the way to the tomb. During that period of disbelief, of grief, and of loneliness, I invite us to walk alongside the women who rose early on that morning, hurrying to reach the side of their dead beloved, believing that it was over, that they were coming not to find an empty tomb, but to honor a memory. I also, and this might be a little different for us, it is for me, I also invite us to enter the story in the tomb itself with Jesus. Here was this great giver of love and hope, now lying cold and alone in a dark place. For this is where the encounter with the empty tomb begins. In August of 2010, many of you will recall this story, 33 Chilean miners were trapped in a small, collapsed copper and gold mine. Do you remember this story? They immediately rationed their food and survived on 2 mouthfuls of tuna and a half glass of milk every 48 hours. That's what each of them got as they waited for rescue. Families and loved ones set up camp on the Earth's surface about 2,300 feet above where the miners were trapped. And these campers prayed. They held vigils. They lit candles. And they dreamed dreams of reunion, while engineers worked endlessly, boring holes, desperately reaching far into the depths of the earth, yearning for some signs of life that far below the surface. And as the days passed from below, the trapped miners revealed innermost secrets to each other. They scrawled love notes to lovers and to their children, always listening for a tap, 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 some sign that they were being searched for. But at day 17, the chasm between the life up top and the deep cavern below seemed impossible to bridge. How could they still be alive? They asked up top. There's no way they will find us, they said from the depths. And just as many from both sides of that divide were surrendering to what seemed inevitable, the miners heard the life-giving sound of a distant drill. Now just imagine that for a moment. You are trapped in a mine, not expecting to get out alive, expecting that that is where you will spend your last breath. You've written notes. You said goodbye in video. And then you hear it. The clanking, grinding sound of life reaching down to you. Now imagine you're on top. And you are stretching in with all that you have, extending yourself to grab hold of the ones buried so far below, so far beyond your reach. When you discover there's a note attached to the bottom of the drill bit that just surfaced, stating simply, the 33 of us in the shelter are well. You might remember when the note was received, the whole world erupted in elation with the people of Chile. It seemed impossible. How could it be? All 33 alive after 17 days? And then there was the long period of waiting for the reunion. People from all over the world added their prayers to those campers. They had candlelit vigils. They dreamed the dreams of reunion along with the campers in what they called Camp Hope. And 2 months later, after a tremendously complicated feat of engineering, one by one, the tomb was emptied of all 33 miners. Each one returned to the arms of their loved ones and returned to all the comings and goings of life itself. From outside, from the hurrying to get there, from the grasping for those that we have loved and lost, we encounter the empty tomb. And from the inside, from the fight with despair, the cold loneliness, and maybe the tiniest reach out, we encounter the empty tomb. The stones do not roll away by themselves, and tombs do not empty themselves. Hallelujah.